I think this is a Dallas team that, similar to LA, similar to Vegas, man, people want to give them a ton of credit when comparing them to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, and like I don't want it to be taken in the wrong way. That I do think they're a really, really good team, and they're going to be a tough test. But the Oilers have also faced I think LA might have been the best team they've faced so far. I think LA might have been better than Vegas, just matchup wise. I know obviously the history of Edmonton beating LA so much, but with this Dallas team, there's just a lot not going right for them at the same time. And I know how great Mikko Rantanen is and all that good stuff, but I just feel like the Oilers match up well against them in the departments that they need to match up well, like especially that goals against. Like if you look back to what happened in the conference finals last year, Dallas really had one game where they found their offense, and that was game 3, and they absolutely wiped the floor with the Oilers. The Oilers didn't look like they stood a chance in that series after that one. Obviously, they went up 2-1, but after that, the Oilers just completely shut down Dallas's offense and just went off on their own and went off and won the series and made it to the Stanley Cup final. And the Oilers offense is humming so much better than it has been in years past. I really do think this could be a 5-6 game series again.
Yeah, and that's a good point looking back at last series. Like Edmonton takes game 1 in double OT, the Connor McDavid winner against the Stars, and then they lose 3-1 in game 2. And then they lose 5-3 in that game 3 back on home ice. And you're right, it wasn't a particularly close hockey game. I know the Oilers scored 2 in the first, but then it was just like Dallas poured it on after that. And I walked out of that building being like, they might not be able to solve Jake Ottinger all that much, and this Dallas team might just be way deeper than them. Like, it didn't have the same vibe as this Oilers team this year, and the way Edmonton flipped the switch, 5-2, 3-1, 2-1, and boom, they're out of that series in 6 games. It was stunning, and honestly, if Edmonton comes out of the gates and dominates Dallas early, hand up, I won't be stunned. Again, this Oilers team has left us very little reason to think that they're going to go get absolutely dominated by teams in these playoffs, because it's now been 9 straight hockey games where they've either been in a close game or they have dominated the other team. And you can go back through the series against LA. A couple of close games in there where it's like LA has a good front half, but Edmonton dominates in the back half. LA has a good period. Edmonton dominates them for 2. And again, it's very little reason to think that this is an Oilers team who is going to get steamrolled by Dallas. If Dallas wins, it's a long series. If Edmonton wins, I think this thing could end in any range of 5, 6, or 7. And if you're going to sit there and be like, Tyler, you're crazy, I predicted Edmonton in 5 over the Vegas Golden Knights. It was on the whiteboard at Oilers Nation HQ. Everyone would have called me crazy then, or I should say outsiders, non-believers, whatever. They would have been like, there's no way Edmonton's working. Look at the blue line. Look at the forward group. Look at how well Aiden Hill's playing. Everyone would have called you crazy for saying Oilers in 5 over the Golden Knights. I don't think it's insane to believe that the Oilers are the only team in this matchup who could make this a quick one.
I completely agree. Obviously, the big difference between the Dallas team this year and last year is Mikko Rantanen, and he's obviously been great for them in the playoffs, but he's also been like pretty streaky as well. Like he'll go like 3 games where he'll put up like a ton of points and then he just absolutely disappears. It's also a Dallas team that has been shut out 3 times in the playoffs so far, which is the most by any team. And it blows my mind a little bit too that Winnipeg series, like they struggled against Winnipeg, a team that just like couldn't win on the road. And that's basically what happened in the difference in the series. Like this Edmonton team is better than Winnipeg. They're significantly better than the Colorado Avalanche. And now I think that's why I strongly believe Edmonton will come away with this series again and make it to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals.
If I could give you a little number on that Finnish Mafia, that new look top line, because you mentioned Rantanen is obviously a big new face in this for this Dallas team, but Mikael Granlund's been excellent as well. So they've ran with the trio of Rantanen, Hintz, and Granlund for 120 minutes at 5-on-5 in these playoffs. 120 minutes, 5-on-5. They're outscoring the other team 7-2, and it's like, man, are they ever dominant? In that stretch, though, the expected goals do not favor them. So despite the fact that they're scoring 77% of the actual goals, 77.7%, the expected goals for percentage is only 47%, Liam. Like, you can look, their PDO's north of 1.1 as a trio. They are scoring on all their shots, and Jake Ottinger is stopping a lot of rubber when that trio is on the ice. Again, they are very good. This is not me telling you that they aren't capable of taking over games and wins, but to the point you just made, they're all known as being relatively streaky players, especially Granlund and Rantanen in these playoffs. it was early on in that Colorado series. Like, we kind of forget the last 2 games flipped our narrative in that series. There was a lot of talk early on that it's like, boy, Colorado is deep. That Rantanen trade is working out very well for them because look at how good players like Natchez and Drury have allowed them to spread things out, and Landeskog's back, and it's all going to be all Avs. And then Rantanen had 2 amazing games and took over that series, and he deserves full marks for that. But it flipped the narrative, and it turned everyone into, look at Colorado. How could they trade that guy? Blah, blah, blah. But through a couple of games in that series, that was not the case.
No, it wasn't. We all thought Colorado up 2-0 in that series, and I know the reason
1-1, but they dominated.
1-1. Yeah, so there you go. And another reason why the Dallas Stars shouldn't be underestimated by any means. But again, you asked me to do some research, Tyler, so I did it. When you look through that lineup, like outside of the top line, Wyatt Johnston and Tyler Seguin are the only guys that have more than 1 goal in the playoffs. And Wyatt Johnston had 1 goal against the Winnipeg Jets in that series. Duchesne doesn't have a goal. Robertson doesn't have a goal. I know he's been missed time, but then you look through as well. Jamie Benn 1 goal, Marchman 1 goal, Steele 1 goal, Dadonov 1 goal. Like, the depth outside of that top line just isn't producing. And obviously they have Alex Petrovic there, former Oiler, third line left wing. They're obviously not playing him there, and Rantanen and the other guys are getting a few more shifts, but still, like, he has as many goals as Jamie Benn does in the playoffs. Like, that should be a sign of where this Dallas team is at. Again, their blue line is legit. Guys like Harley and Miro Heiskanen's getting better, but the numbers are very, very similar to what they were last year coming into this series, if not worse offensively for the Dallas Stars.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.